This is Professor Pete Alexander with the Winning at Business and Life podcast, where business leaders share their insights. It is 6 questions in 7 minutes because successful business leaders are busy and rarely have more time to spare. So let's get to it. Question number one: in a few sentences, please tell me who you are and what you do.
Oh, good afternoon, good morning, and good evening. I'm Chuck Mutz, owner and founder of Black Tie Auctions. We're a benefit auction specialist company based out of New Orleans. We basically help nonprofit organizations raise additional money during their annual galas and fundraisers. We do this by helping with the live, the silent, paddle raise, consignment items, you name it, we do it. Our tagline is basically, we'll put the fun in your fundraiser.
Chuck, it's so great to have you on the show. Question number two: what's the best thing about working in your industry?
Oh, it's positive. We are working with organizations that are raising money for good causes, whether it's to help fight cancer. My mother's a breast cancer survivor, so I'm a real man wearing pink this year. If it's the Boys Town helping to get these kids off the street in a positive environment, every one of my events is raising money for good causes. There are good people there. And at the end of the day, we've raised money and everybody's happy.
I love it. And I can hear the passion in your voice. It's really, really fun to hear.
If I won the lottery, I would still do this, but just charge a lot less.
A great way to look at it. Question number three: I have a fictitious book with all the answers for business. What chapter would you think most companies should read?
Ooh, I would say they've got to read the second to last chapter because that lets me know that they've actually read all the way through that and not just skip to the last page to see who done it.
Mm, I like that. And the second to the last chapter, how come the second to the last chapter instead of the first page of the last chapter?
Well, you're familiar with the hammock effect, right? You
Yes.
always remember 100% or 80% of the first part, 100% of the last part. The gold, that good stuff, is always somewhere in the middle that
Mm.
most people forget about. So if it's the second to last chapter, just like how do you feel Thursday afternoon going into the Friday? You're pretty excited because the weekend's coming up, right?
Right.
And when you're at the bank waiting for your check to be cashed and you got one person in front of you, that means you're next.
Good way to put it. I love it. Question number four: other than the generic work harder, have a great attitude, and care for customers, what advice or insight would you give to other business leaders?
Listen to your customers. I'll say that again really slow because I'm an auctioneer. Listen to your customers. You've got to understand what your customers and your clients' needs are before you can accurately give them the answers that they're looking for. If you go in and you pre assume that you know what they want and need, you're missing the point and you might be missing some good business.
Mhm. Very good point. Thank you for that insight. Question number five: what other business leader like yourself would you like to acknowledge and invite to be on my podcast?
Ooh, that's a hard question to whittle down. That's probably your hardest question for me. Let's see. We've got 7 minutes. How long have we been talking so far? Oh my gosh! And I know I talk fast. You're probably going to be done and go, "Ooh, Chuck, we need to ask another question." It would probably be either Mark Romig, who is a personal fan of mine. He is the voice of the Saints, of course. The other person would be my personal mentor. Her name is Dawn Marie Costanos. She is a benefit auctioneer out of California and the young lady that actually got me into the benefit auction world.
Oh, great. Two interesting people. I appreciate that. I'll reach out to them. And question number six: please tell me about your first job.
Okay, now there's two different ones that I can claim as my first job. My dad owned a salvage company. He stored cars that were wrecked for the insurance companies. And my brother and I, during the summers, would have to go clean up the yard, pick up the trash, go through the cars, clean them out. And we were paid $5 a day. Of course, I'm over 50 now, so you can imagine how long ago that was. And we get to keep all the spare change, so we could buy a go kart. So that was my first job. My first real job outside of the family company, I was a stripper in the place just outside of the French Quarter. And for those of you that are thinking bad thoughts, shame on you, number one. In the printing industry, a stripper works along with the typesetter to make sure that the plates for the press are ready to go. So we would shoot the negatives, and then the stripper's job was to lay the negatives on the vellum, take your little paintbrush and plug up all the little holes and get it ready for the pressman downstairs. So that was my first real job, not working for mom and dad.
And a great way to cue it up as saying that you were a stripper that could really catch the listener's attention at the tail end of the show. Well done.
About that.
So, Chuck, thank you so much for being on the show. How can people find you?
It's real easy. My website is blacktieauction.biz, and that's auction with a plural S. They can reach out to me. My phone is always ringing, 504 in the New Orleans area. Or come to New Orleans and go to a fundraiser and ask for that wacky auctioneer.
Perfect. This is Professor Pete Alexander with the Winning at Business and Life podcast. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, sir. Enjoyed being here.